Whoever said harem anime couldn't be fucking epic? Hello everybody, DxD here, and I just finished High School DxD Season 4, which is the final season that is available of the show right now. Season 5 has been basically all but confirmed, and I am extremely looking forward to it. But since I finished all 4 seasons of High School DxD and loved it so very much, I wanted to rank it. So here we go. I'm going to be ranking all four current seasons of High School DxD Season 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'll be ranking them from what I consider to be the weakest season to the strongest season. I will tell you right now, I didn't think one season of this show, I didn't think one episode of the show was not awesome. I absolutely loved this show from beginning to end. I thought this show introduced so many phenomenal characters and really did a great job of keeping you invested in those characters and adding more to their and developing them and adding more to their stories, and I really could not have been happier with the way that this show went. I truly loved this show, and to show that, here is my ranking of all 4 seasons of High School DxD. Let's get into this. Coming in at the number 4 spot, the weakest season of High School DxD, for me, is going to be Season 3. Now, the way High School DxD works is that each season is basically divided into 2 arcs. Sometimes 3. Sometimes there's 3 arcs, but 2 arcs mostly. So usually the first half of the season is one arc, and then the second half of the season is a different arc. And that's usually how it works. And Season 3, in my opinion, was overall the most messiest season of the show. It was still really good, and it was still a lot of fun. But I did think that this one was the messiest of all the seasons, because this one actually had like 3 arcs in it. The first arc, so the first couple episodes, you have the Gremory house is going to visit the underworld, and Rias is going to visit her family, and they all go there, and then you get introduced to Konako's sister, who I can't remember off the top of my head. She wasn't in the show very much, but I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but you get introduced to her, and you find out that she is actually with Volley and the Chaos Brigade. She is one of Volley's people, and she wants to get Konako back. She wants her sister back. So you have that, and you get a really good fight with her and the House of Gremory, and that was really, really great. Really like that part. And then you have the thing with Loki. So Loki shows up, and it's really funny when he shows up, because he literally he comes in, he's like, I will bring Ragnarok, I will destroy everything and kill everyone. And then Beelzebub stands up and is just like, begone, thought, and he's just sealed away in a little prison cell for like 24 hours. So that was a really funny scene in my opinion. But you have that, so you go from that plot into this one with Loki, and then this one takes up the next couple episodes, and you have Gremory's trying to take down Loki now before he can cause Ragnarok. And yeah, it was a pretty cool fight as well. You know, Issei takes him out with Mjolnir, which is pretty darn cool. And then the next arc of the show was Diodora Astaroth, which was the highlight of this season in my opinion. I absolutely love this arc. And then there was another arc after this. So I guess technically there was kind of 4, although I'm pretty sure the first couple episodes with Konako's sister, I guess that really wouldn't be considered an arc. So that could be 1. And then you have this one with Diodora Astaroth, and then the last one, which we'll talk about in just a second here. But man, Diodora Astaroth, this guy was such a fucking monster. I hated this dude. The second he showed up and revealed that he was like that he was the devil that Asuya healed, and it got her kicked out of the church, that was like, man, that was really, because he reveals to them that he actually planned the whole thing. He's actually a fucking psychopath, and I absolutely hated that, although he didn't reveal that at that time. But then you get the whole thing with like Diodora Astaroth is like taking over his house, and then he challenges Gremory to a raiding game, and you know, to see if he gets Asuya, because he's a fucking creep-bro. And then they're obviously planning on doing this. They're getting trained for this raiding game. And then it all kind of falls apart when they get transported right into his battle. And they kind of have an impromptu raiding game, although it's more of just a fight to the death. And yeah, and Azazel kind of uses them to like bait him out. But it was really, really awesome, because this entire fight scene between Gremory and Diodora Astaroth was absolutely awesome. I absolutely loved everything about it. But the freaking climax of this arc, when Issei confronts this dude and he takes Asuya and is like gonna force him to marry, and he's gonna force Asuya to marry her, and then freaking Issei just absolutely loses it, destroys this fucking dude, and he's just on the ground begging for mercy. And then his brother comes down, and Asuya disappears because she's like praying, and then his brother like makes her go into the dimension gap, and then he shows up and he's like, I am actually the real threat here. I am way stronger than my shitty brother, and his brother's like, we can do this together, and then he's just like, boom, and fucking finishes him off. but then he makes the mistake of going, the bitch is dead, like Asuya is dead, and then Issei absolutely destroys this guy as well, which was just so funny. In the span of like 2 episodes, Issei killed 2 major devils, and it was really fucking awesome. I absolutely loved this entire part of season 3. This was, in my opinion, the highlight of season 3, as I just absolutely loved it. Now, the final bit of season 3 was the little bit with Loki's curse on Rias, and it made her kind of go against Issei. She was kind of mind controlled by Loki and the little doppelganger of Issei, and basically to get her back, Issei and Rias have to fight, which was a pretty cool little arc, but that whole arc is actually retconned in season 4, so it's not really a major thing because they completely disregard that arc in season 4, and they go off of the Diodora Astaroth arc. So while it was a fun 3 episodes, and I really do like the battle between Rias and Issei where they're both powered up by the Red Dragon Emperor armor, that was really cool. It obviously doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because the whole arc was retconned in season 4. So there you go. That was season 3. I personally thought this season was just the messiest overall. It was just a little bit weaker than most of the other seasons, but the Diodora Astaroth arc was quite a highlight. I absolutely love that one. And yeah, overall, I do think that this one was the overall weakest season of the show, but it was still very good. And I will also say this, I watch dubs. I don't really care what you say. I'm not that big of an anime fan. When I watch anime, I watch dubs because that's just me. And I always thought that the dub for this show was exceptional, and from what I've heard, this is actually one of the more liked dubs by real anime weebs or whatever, you know, people who get mad at you for watching dubs. As far as I've heard, this is actually one of the more liked dubs, and I could be wrong on this, but I think in this season, Issei's voice actor and Akino's voice actor were changed. I could be wrong on this. I have not looked into it, but I feel like they sounded different, and it was a little jarring at first. I did get used to it pretty fast, although I did kind of miss Akino's original voice actor. I'm almost certain that Akino's voice actor was changed because she sounded very different from what she did in season 1, and that was a little bit degrading because I don't know, I was just so used to the original voice actor. So when they changed, I certainly noticed something was up. So yeah, that was another thing I didn't really care for about this season, but overall season 3 was still a lot of fun. It was just the messiest overall, and for that reason, I'm going to put it at number 4. Coming in at number 3 for me is going to be Highschool DxD New, aka Highschool DxD Season 2. Now, the first arc of this season is the major arc of this season, and I thought this arc was extremely good. This was, of course, the arc with Kiva. We learn a lot about Kiva in this arc. We learn that he was a part of an experiment for Excalibur, and this was a really, really heartbreaking story for Kiva, and I always loved Kiva throughout season 1. I thought he was such an awesome dude and such an absolute bro. I love Kiva so much, but this was really where you get to learn a lot more about Kiva. You learn about his past, how he was picked for this Excalibur project, how he was an orphan, and man, this shit was traumatizing because, like, basically what happened was Kiva was with a bunch of other people. They were being used for this research and for this Excalibur project thing, and when they didn't need them anymore, they executed them all. They executed like 13 orphans, and it was absolutely horrifying, but Kiva was able to escape. But then he died in the snow outside of the complex. They just left him there, I guess. And Rias found him and gave him new life as a devil, which was really cool. And in this arc, the monsters from that past and the guy who orchestrated the whole project, you actually meet him and you get to watch Kiva get his revenge, which was really, really great. You get to see everybody who died to help Kiva escape the complex. You get to see them all kind of help Kiva, and they give him this awesome, like, half holy and half devil sword, and it lets him take out this fucking asshole who orchestrated the whole thing. You get the return of Fried Selzen as well, who I thought was such a absolutely, like, he was, okay, I hesitate to say an awesome villain because he was such a fucking freakazoid, but he really was a good villain. Like, he was a freak and a psychopath, but I honestly liked him. Like, he was a freak and a psychopath to the level of like a slasher villain where you just wanted to see more of him because he was so entertaining. But yeah, I was really glad to see him back as well. Although, I will say, we already talked about season 3, I will say that the way they take him out in season 3 was a little unsacrimonous to me. I feel like this guy was enough of a villain to get a much more epic ending. But yeah, I don't know, that was just my thoughts. But yes, Fried Selzen was pretty cool to see. see him come back as well, because I really did like him in the first 5 episodes of the show. So yes, overall, I love this arc. And then, of course, you get the introduction of Kokabeel, one of the leaders of the Fallen Angels, and this dude was a huge threat. This guy really felt like he was not gonna go down, and he really felt like a big deal. But I absolutely love how this kind of goes down with Issei. And obviously, you know, this being High School DxD, it always ends with Issei getting some perverted thought in his mind and then absolutely annihilating the villain. And that does kind of happen here, but of course, if you've seen the show, you know what happens. Right before Issei can take down Kokabeel, we are introduced to him, the mighty, you know, the mighty Volley, the White Dragon Emperor, who is, for all intents and purposes, the main core villain of this show. And he's not even really a villain. He's just a dude who's so stupidly overpowered and he wants to fight someone that's on his level, and that happens to be the Red Dragon Emperor or Issei. So he's basically the main villain of this show, and this is the first time we really get to see him. He does get introduced a little bit earlier in the season along with Azazel, which is really cool. But this is the first time we actually get to see him come down. He's in all of his armor. We get to see his divine ability that cuts powers in half, which is really awesome. And then he takes out Kokabeel, which was a really cool thing. He kind of just comes out of nowhere, and then before he gets to fight Issei, oh no, actually that's later in the season. That doesn't happen in this. He just kind of takes Kokabeel back and yeah, gets rid of him. So that is the first arc of this season. I also forgot to talk about, we get the introduction of Zenobia and Edina. I absolutely love these two characters. Zenobia, I thought was really weird, but she kind of grew on me as it went on. I don't know. She's probably my least favorite of the main core of the Gremory family. She's probably my least favorite character in the whole Gremory family, but I still like her. But Edina, honestly, Edina, I feel like if Edina had more screen time, if they had used Edina more, I feel like she had the ability to compete with Konako as my favorite character, because I absolutely loved her, because she was literally and figuratively an angel. So yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to, well, actually that was all in season 3. So yeah, Edina was just a really awesome character, but of course in season 3 it's revealed that she actually became an angel and served under Michael, the Archangel. So really, really great as well. So I really like Edina and I really like Zenobia as well, and they were introduced in the season, and they were also a great introduction to the season. So that is the first arc of season 2, and then the second arc of season 2 was a little bit more messy. We get the introduction of Gasper, who is Rias's other bishop, and I actually really like this character a lot. I thought he was really cool. He is very much like a Chihiro kind of character, like from Danganronpa, where he's a dude in a dress, but he's a really good character. He's a vampire as well, which was really cool, and his sacred gear lets him stop time, which is really, really cool. And he was a good character, and I like his development throughout the show. I feel like they kind of sidelined him though, because like they introduced him in season 2, and they don't really use him all that much, but he does have some pretty great moments in the show. And I do like the character overall. So yeah, Gasper is introduced in this arc, and then you have the whole thing with the magicians and that one chick. Why can I never remember that chick? She was like, I think she was like one of the fallen devils, and you know, she was the girl with like the stretchy arms and the staff and whatnot, and she was like, I don't know, I can't remember. She had glasses as well. I cannot remember her name. I think it was something very forgettable. So yeah, but you get her coming down, and then you get the introduction of Lady Leviathan as well, one of the 4 Devil Kings, and I absolutely love her. She's probably my favorite of the Devil Kings, so yeah. You get her introduction as well, and you have the Gremory and Azazel and Leviathan all fighting against this, all fighting against the magicians and this other chick. And then Volley shows up and ruins everything, and Volley's like, and Volley wants to fight Issei. He's ready for that battle, and it's a really epic fight. I absolutely love this. Once again, of course, the way Issei gets enough power to beat him is some perverted thought that Azazel throws out there, and it's a pretty epic moment of the show, but I really love it. But before, of course, before it gets too out of hand and before they really start like killing each other, of course, you got one of Volley's guys comes down and stops the fight. So really awesome. I absolutely love this. That's the final little thing that happened in this season. Overall, I really like season 2. I especially love the Kiva arc, and I especially love I love both of the arcs in this season. I thought both of them were really, really great. But yeah, that's just about everything to talk about with him. So number 3, once again, High School DxD New. Really good season in my opinion. It was really solid. I did feel like this one was a little bit of a step back from season 1 personally, but I still really, really, really liked it. And there you go. That is number 3. Alrighty, and with that, we enter the top 2. Now, this was a very difficult decision to pick which one of these was going to be number 1 and which one was going to be number 2, because here's the deal. I've already established that the way Highschool DxD works is it's two major arcs in one season, and that is very true for these last 2 seasons. But the thing is, one of these seasons has an absolutely flawless arc that I love so much, and I would consider one of my favorite things in anime ever, that I've ever seen in any anime ever. And then the other arc is just good and solid overall. It's just fun. But then you have the other season is just 2 fantastic arcs. So we have one season with one outstanding, phenomenal god tier arc and one kind of just good arc. And then we have one season with 2 fantastic arcs. So which one is number 1? Here we go. This is what I've decided. I do stand by this decision. Number 2 is going to be the only season I have on Blu-ray, Highschool DxD Season 4, Highschool DxD Hero. I absolutely loved this season. I thought that the animation change did not detract from the show at all. In fact, I actually really like the new animation, and honestly, I think it might even be a bit of an upgrade, and I'm definitely excited to see Season 5 as well, but I absolutely loved this season. I was expecting this season because since, obviously, I'm a new fan of this, I didn't know that this show was still going on. I expected this to be the final season, and we were going to get and we were finally going to get Issei, and I thought that this was going to be mainly about Issei taking down Volley and the Chaos Brigade, but it turned out to be something completely different. They completely sidelined that whole story for this. They retconned that final little arc of Season 3, which, while I do like that little bit of Season 3, I'm okay with it getting retconned, and I do think that that what we got in Season 4 was overall an upgrade. So yeah, I really like that, and you get so they come right off of the Diodora Astaroth defeating, and him defeating the brother of Diodora Astaroth, and you get that, and you get the funny little friggin' Grab and Dragon song, and now Issei is a fucking icon of the underworld, which is really cool. And then the first arc of this show is they go to Kyoto, which is that little town in Japan, which is really cool. And basically, it's really cool because they get that. Basically, what happens is they encountered the fox spirit chick. I can't remember her name. And basically, her mother was taken by the Chaos Brigade. And yeah, basically, the Chaos Brigade is our main villain of this arc, which was really cool. And you're introduced to So-So of the Chaos Brigade, who is really awesome, and he's really cool, and his whole team is also extremely cool and extremely powerful. And yeah, this whole arc is basically just Issei and the Gremories that came to Kyoto, which is Issei, Irina, Zenobia, Rosvisa, who we will talk about her, and who else? Kiva, obviously. Yeah, because Akano, Konako, and Rias all stay behind, so you don't really get much of them in this season. They're really just relegated to a couple of fan service bath scenes that they just throw in there, which was, I'm gonna be honest with you, a little degrading, just going from this arc and just randomly going back to these like fan service ass bath scenes. But of course, this is Highschool DxD. We gotta have some obligatory bath scenes in there, and they know it, man. They fucking know it. You know, I forget what season it was, but you literally get that. You literally get that line from Rias where she's like, "It's time for our obligatory bath scene." So yeah, that's you get that. But overall, I really do love this arc. And then of course you get so basically you get 2 different fights between the Gremories and the Chaos Brigade and So-So. And the first one you get is that one on the bridge, which is really awesome. They transport him into that fucking alternate dimension, and they fight. It's really awesome. You get all the little foot soldiers there. That one is really awesome. But then, of course, the final episode of this arc, you get Issei and the Gremories taking on his actual real team, and it was pretty darn awesome. They all have Sayer gears. They're all really cool. You got that one guy who got like fucking 6 arms and like 6 different swords, and Kiva goes after him. And of course, they're all way too powerful. They all get overpowered, except Issei, who once again has that fucking classic Issei moment where he gets, or something perverted comes to mind, and he's able to overthrow So-So, which is really cool as well. And yeah, overall, I really do like this arc a lot. It was a lot of fun. You'll also get Rosvisa in this arc as well. Rosvisa, I gotta talk about Rosvisa, man. I gotta talk about it because she's introduced in Season 3. She's quite a highlight of Season 3, but man, she becomes a rook of, Rias' second rook, and man, she is such a highlight of this show, man. Every single time Rosvisa comes on and does her Rosvisa thing where she just breaks down and just starts fucking talking about such nonsense and such. She's just such a hilarious she's such a hilarious character and such a highlight of the show. I absolutely love Rosvisa. She also added to the season a lot, in my opinion. But yeah, that is the major first arc of Season 4, and then the second arc of Season 4, which really. Oh man, this one. The rating game between the House of Gremory and Syra Org of the House of Ball. Oh my god, this rating game. This was my favorite rating game of the whole show, man. This one was so awesome. I thought this was just so epic, man. You get a very standard rating game, you know, you get Rias's team and Syra Org's team, they're going at each other. Really great. All the fights are awesome. I especially love the one with Gasper and Zenobia taking on those two. The dragon guy and then the chick who could like man, what does she do? She could like take powers away temporarily. She could like nullify your powers temporarily. I love that one because you really get to see, because you get a really great Gasper moment in that one where Gasper stands up and is like, I am a man of the House of Gremory. He like stands up and he really helps Zenobia beat them and is really great. I absolutely love that I absolutely love that fight. That was probably my favorite fight besides the final fight of this season. But yeah, you get that one. You also get the one with Ross Vice, Kiva, and Zenobia taking on Syra Org, which was really awesome as well. You get that little part with the glamour, like freaking Ross Visa does the little trick and then comes back and beats them, and they get this close to beating him, but then he kind of destroys them. He does that kind of classic thing where he wasn't going full power and then he takes them off. So yeah, that was also pretty great. But then of course, freaking Syra Org wants to skip right to Issei. He doesn't want to bother himself with these foot soldiers, as he calls them, but you get the final fight of Issei and Rias between Syra Org and his final pawn, which turns out to be a really strong pawn, the Golden Lion dude. Really, really cool. You get a really great fight between Issei and Syra Org, and then you have Rias. Syra gets defeated by the Golden Lion dude. And then you get the real ending fight of this, where Syra Org puts on the armor, the sacred gear of his pawn, and he becomes this fucking golden paladin of awesomeness. And then Issei finally admits that he loves Rias, and that gives him like ultra powers, and he goes and fucking annihilates Syra Org. And I absolutely love this arc, love this battle. It was so epic. And it's finally freaking Issei admits that he loves Rias, which was such a great moment as well. Because the whole season, you know, there's that whole thing with Rias like really, really wanting to know what Issei actually thinks of her, and he keeps calling her president like a fucking idiot, and he keeps blowing it with her. But then you get this part where he admits that he loves her, and that gives him the power and the strength to take down Syra Org, which was absolutely awesome. I love this rating game. I love this whole second half of the season, and I absolutely love the fact that this show just cuts off after that. You know, you get the final little scene between Issei and Rias. They finally embrace and they talk, and then the whole family is there, and it just ends with them kissing. I love that it just ends with them kissing. I'm really glad that the show didn't like show what happens next, because you would think that Highschool DxD would show what happens next, but I feel like it was a really great move to not show it, because it always Highschool DxD has always had that vibe where, yes, it's a perverted show, and it's like, it's all about showing you boobs and tits and asses, but it feels like this show is like trying to be that, but also not trying to be that, and I really feel like that works in favor of the show, and this is another example of that, where the final thing they show is just the kiss between Issei and Rias, and I absolutely love that they just cut it off there. I really did. I thought it was so unbelievably perfect. So yeah, that is season 4. I absolutely loved this season. I thought this season was so damn great. And yeah, number 2. I almost put this at number 1. I'm not gonna lie to you. I absolutely loved this season. I have heard that that most Highschool DxD fans were not a fan of this season. I could not tell you why, man. I guess they just really didn't like the animation change, but I thought the animation change was fantastic. The only thing I really think the animation change hurt was I think that the design of Rias was hurt by this. I don't know. I think her design in the new animation is a little bit weaker than her old design, but it's not enough for me to hate the animation at all. I actually think most of the characters look way better, like Asya and Konako. I think that this animation change really benefits them. I think that they look so much better with this animation change. So yeah. That is it. That is number 2, season 4, Highschool DxD Hero. Absolutely loved this season, but there's no way anything is ever going to top the first 5 episodes of this show. Number 1, Highschool DxD season 1. The first 5 episodes of this show were Probably the best episodes of anime that I have personally ever seen in my entire life. The first 5 episodes of this show, you're introduced to Issei. Issei is this perverted teenager. He's hanging out with his friends and they're talking about boobs. And then you get the introduction of Yuma, and she's like, I want to be your boyfriend, Issei. And then they go on this date and it's all really good. It's going really well. Issei's like loving his life, being all happy, and then fucking surprise, Yuma's a fallen angel and murders his ass. So yeah, that sucks. And then you're introduced to Lady Rainier, who is the first major villain of the show. She's the fallen angel. She kills Issei, and then Rias brings him back to life as a devil, and he becomes a pawn of her house, and he's introduced to he's introduced to his new family with Rias and Akeno, Koneko, and Kiba. Really awesome. The setup is really great, but then you get to Asuya. So basically, after all this goes down, you get a couple scenes of Issei doing his devil thing, you know, handing out flyers and going and getting packs, and then you get Asuya. So Issei runs into Asuya on his way to I forget where it was, but he runs into Asuya, helps her find the church, and they instantly become friends. They're both so great together, and Issei totally falls for Asuya, and you can see it in Issei's eyes that he would rather be with Asuya than the Gremories, because it's like, I don't know, I don't really know exactly how to put it, but it really felt like he just really wanted to be with Asuya over the Gremories, and it was really, really great. And then you get the confrontation with Rainier and the other fallen angels, and Fried Selzen. Basically, Issei goes to get a pact from this church with this priest, and then Fried Selzen shows up, and it's like, surprise, bitch, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And you get that fight, from Fried Selzen versus the Gremories. Fried Selzen gets away, and Asuya gets, bad things happen to Asuya. And then you get into episode 5, which was just utterly phenomenal. Basically, in this episode, Rias does not want Issei to go after Asuya. Asuya's been captured by Rainier. She's going to, and basically they implied that they're going to kill her and take her sacred gear. And Rias forbids Issei from going after them, but he disobeys her. Rias and Akeno go and fight a couple of other fallen angels, and then Issei goes after Asuya, obviously against Rias, but Kiva and Koneko help him as well, which was really, really great. Great moment for Kiva and Koneko as well. And then Issei, of course, confronts Rainier and the fallen angels, and you get that awesome fight of Fried Selzen versus Koneko and Kiva, which I absolutely love that as well. And then, of course, the confrontation of Rainier and Issei. Rainier absolutely destroys Issei, but he's able to get Asuya out of the building, takes her to that church, and then she dies in his arms, which was absolutely heartbreaking. This was the first time an anime had ever made me cry. Holy shit, dude. I was in tears. This was so fucking sad, and just the way that he acts when she dies, he's just like, this is such bullshit, I want her back! It was so good. And then Rainier shows up because she's a fucking bitch, and she's like taunting him and all that, and then Issei's like, I've had enough, I am gonna fucking kill this bitch. Gets his power, he gets his fucking sacred gear going, stands up, he's got these giant fucking bleeding holes in his freaking legs from the light spears, and he destroys her, man. You're not getting away, bitch! Fucking throws her through that damn window. So fucking good. He's over there, he's got Asuya's lifeless body in his hands. It's so fucking sad, it's so sad. And then Rias shows up, Koneko comes in the door, someone lose this, throws Rainier on the fucking floor. Rainier's like begging for mercy, Issei, come on, you're not gonna let them kill me, right? And then he just turns his back, and Rias fucking obliterates her. Absolutely flawless, dude, it was so good. And then the final little bit of this arc, you get Rias giving new life to Asuya. Asuya becomes the bishop of the Gremory house, the first bishop of the Gremory house. And that is it. That is the first arc. So flawless, man. I cannot say that enough. These first 5 episodes were truly outstanding, man. I really cannot say that enough. And for me, it was enough to make season 1 #1 because, oh my god, I just love this. But the second arc of season 1 is, of course, the rating game between the House of Phoenix and the House of Gremory. This was still a really good arc. I really like the rating game itself between Issei and Phoenix. Where this arc fell a little short for me is the final climactic ending of Issei versus Riser. I don't know, man. There was just, of course, basically what happened was Issei sacrificed his arm so that he could use the holy water and the cross that he got from Asuya. He learned that those are powerful against devils. Well, obviously he can't touch them, so he gives his arm to Drake and basically is able to use holy water and the cross, and he's able to achieve his first balance breaker, which was really cool. And he uses it to defeat Riser, which was really cool, and save Rias from having to marry him because he's a fucking pompous douchebag. Although it was really cool to see Riser come back in Season 4. I did really like that. And, oh my god, when he came in Season 4 and he was talking like a normal dude, that was a really great moment as well. But yes, I don't know, I just felt like the final little confrontation of Issei and Riser was just a little bit weaker overall, and I would say it's easily the most anticlimactic, like, final villain showdown of the show. So, yeah, there you go, that is that. I still really like this arc, and I think there's some really great highlights of the rating game itself, especially Koneko, man. Her ability to break every damn scene with her perfect little snarky one-liners is just absolutely perfect. So, yeah. But with that being said, everybody, that is number 1 High School DxD Season 1. And with that, that is all 4 seasons of High School DxD ranked. That is everything I wanted to talk about. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you agree with my ranking? Do you not agree? What did you agree with? What did you not agree with? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section down below. And yeah, that's all I got for you today. So there you have it, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And with that being said, this is DK Guillotine, signing out.